Water, falls, exposure, overexertion, and plain human error kill or ruin more hunters than grizzlies do. And one ordinary habit may be the thinnest part of your own hunt. A cold water fall from a little open boat can turn into drowning within minutes when waders and gear keep you from getting back aboard. A fall from a tree stand, 15 to 25 feet up, can leave a man with a spinal injury or internal bleeding a long way from help. We worry about the bear or the dramatic gun accident. Most often it is the cold, the climb, the water, or a shortcut a man has made safely before. After 56 years in the woods, starting with my great-grandfather and my father, I know the woods do not have to be mean to be unforgiving. We'll start with water and tree stands, then work through the strain, weather, shooting, machines, mountains, and the plan that matters when you are alone. First, water. A short boat ride to the blind is still part of the hunt. Cold water does not care how well you swim. When a small open boat capsizes, cold shock can take your breath. Then your arms lose strength and coordination, and hypothermia follows behind it. Fall from a 16-foot boat in heavy waders and gear without a life jacket, and trapped water and that extra weight can make staying afloat or climbing back aboard near impossible. Drowning can come within minutes. Hunters and anglers make up roughly 34% of annual boating fatalities in the national summary here, mostly on inland water in boats under 16 feet. And from 1995 to 2000, 91% of sportsmen killed in boating accidents were not wearing life jackets. So before you touch the tiller, put on a properly fitted Coast Guard approved PFD and secure it. Do not leave it under the seat for later. Keep the load settled and decide how you would get back in that boat before you cross the water. A PFD greatly cuts the drowning risk, but cold water and rough conditions can still beat a poor fit, an unsecured vest, or heavy waders. If you hunt whitetails and rarely see a boat, this part is conditional. But keep the lesson. The ordinary part of the day is usually the part a man quits checking. Water is one kind of ordinary. The climb into a tree stand is another, and gravity can leave worse damage on dry ground. A tree stand may be quiet once you are settled. The dangerous work is getting up there and getting back down. Most falls begin plain. A boot slips on a wet rung. Ice is hiding on the platform, or a man climbs before he clips in, because he has made that climb clean before. From 15 to 25 feet, the ground can leave you with a spinal injury, a broken pelvis or long bone, internal bleeding, or a head injury far from help. Estimates put tree stand deaths at 300 to 500 a year, with thousands more injured. In one Pennsylvania series, 28% had serious injuries and 26% left with functional limits. A harness can stop the fall, but suspension can restrict circulation and become fatal if you are left hanging without a way down. So before your feet leave the ground, wear a full-body fall arrest harness, stay connected going up and down, keep 3 points of contact, and inspect the attachment point, rungs, platform, and descent plan. If you rent gear or use a public stand, that is conditional, not an excuse. If it cannot give you safe attachment and descent, do not climb it. Being careful is good. It is not a fall arrest system. One wet rung can collect the whole debt. Then comes the deer drag and the urge to do it all in one hard push. Text that hard push is where a successful hunt can turn on you. Dragging game, climbing steep ground, or wading mud puts a heavy strain on the heart. For an older or overweight hunter, sudden effort in cold weather can bring on a heart attack or a lethal rhythm problem before he finishes the drag or gets back to the truck. In some of the safety material, more deer hunters die from heart attacks than gunshot wounds. We cannot put a clean national hunting number on it because many of these deaths get recorded as cardiac events, not hunting accidents. So before you put hands on that drag rope, break the work up, make shorter pulls, take the extra trip. If you have a partner, split the load and keep an eye on each other. A pre-season checkup and pacing help. They do not erase the risk. Apparently, fit hunters can still have a sudden cardiac death under cold shock, adrenaline, and a heavy load. And if talking about that feels alarmist, it is not meant to spoil the hunt. It is meant to keep a deer from becoming a reason somebody is searching after dark. The animal will not judge you for 2 honest trips. I would rather make them. Cold and hard work bring another problem with them. Wet clothes, wind, and exhaustion can take away the judgment you need to get yourself warm or cooled down. Rain on your coat, sweat under your layers, a wet boot after breaking through ice, then wind. That is enough. Hypothermia can begin in wet conditions at 50 degrees. Your body loses heat faster than it makes it. First, you shiver. Then you get confused, make poor choices, and lose the hand control needed to use dry tinder, work a lighter, or manage clothing. Before shivering turns to clumsiness, get out of the wind and wet. Protect or replace wet layers with proper insulation, and make shelter while your hands still work. Keep dry tinder and fire-starting tools where rain cannot soak them. Ordinary clothes can fail wet, and making do without insulation and shelter can leave you unable to signal or find your way out. Heat takes the same judgment. Hard work in heat and humidity, with dehydration already started, can push core temperature above about 40 C. Proteins begin to break down and organs can fail. Before confusion or collapse, stop the hard effort. Seek cooling, hydrate, and treat severe heat illness as a need for aggressive cooling and medical care. From my cabin in Tennessee, I judge weather by what it is doing to my clothes, the wind, and my effort. Wet and tired will do plenty without a blizzard, and fatigue in low light and thick cover can turn movement into a shot you cannot take back. Movement is not a target. In low light, thick cover, and fatigue, the mind tries to finish the picture. A human shape, a flash of color, one step in the brush, and expectation can make it look like game before judgment catches up. Then, a rifle round goes where it cannot be called back. The supplied figures put human error at about 80% of hunting accidents. Failure to identify the target leads firearm incidents at about 37%. Before the firearm comes on target, identify the animal completely and identify what is beyond it. If either is uncertain, do not fire. A missed chance is still a clean end to a hunt. You took hunter education. Good. New York cut its incident rate a long way after mandatory training, but lower is not zero. The hard version of that lesson is when you are tired, the light is going, and your partner has moved. Before you split up, agree on hunting areas, travel routes, and a stop time. I was taught this across 4 generations, and I pass it to my grandson the same way. If you cannot name what you are looking at and what is behind it, you have a question. And route choices work the same way. A steep side hill and unstable snow do not leave time to correct a bad decision afterward. An ATV rolls when unfamiliar ground, low light, a shifting load, or a steep side hill puts the machine past its balance point. Then it can throw you or pin you with head injury, internal bleeding, and blunt trauma. A helmet lowers the risk of fatal head injury, but it does not fix speed, bad ground, a bad load, or a machine that quits on you. Before the engine starts, slow the plan down. Keep game and gear low and secure, wear the helmet, and choose a route with room to be wrong. The sensible route sometimes costs daylight. That is still cheaper than trying to win an argument with a side hill. In snow country, a slab can break above you, or while you are on the slope, carry you downhill and pack you under dense snow. Complete burial becomes a partner rescue problem fast. Across the last 10 winters, avalanches killed an average of 27 people a year in this country. Before crossing, check the current avalanche forecast, avoid unstable slopes and the ground below them, and travel with an avalanche transceiver, a partner, and practiced rescue skills. Training and airbags help. They do not make unstable snow safe, and if you hunt flat farmland, that part may not belong to your country. Terrain judgment still does. The next limit is hunting where nobody knows you need help. Hunting alone changes the math because there is no redundancy. A fall, a heart problem, wet cold, or getting turned around can become fatal when nobody can steady you, call for help, or notice you missed dark. Before a remote hunt, write down your route, destination, return time, check-in time, and emergency contact. Leave it with somebody off-site. Where cell service is weak, carry a satellite communicator or emergency locator. Then ask one plain question. If I fall here, can I get myself out? If one failure leaves no rescue path, shorten the hunt or take a partner. If you hunt familiar ground with a partner, that helps. It does not remove the risk. Agree on routes, check-ins, fatigue checks, and who does what when something goes wrong. Company is not redundancy unless you have a plan. And in bear country, a return to deer or elk may not be yours alone anymore. A bear may have claimed that carcass. Approach cautiously and from upwind. If you find a bear there, do not press the encounter. Yellowstone has recorded 8 bear-caused deaths in its history. Bears are rare. The ordinary mistake is what gets repeated until a man quits respecting it. I cannot make the country harmless. I can tell you a written plan gives a bad day another chance. Text. Which part of your hunt has the thinnest safety margin? The boat ride, the stand climb, the drag, the weather, the ATV route, or hunting alone? And what one detail will you put on your hunt plan before the next trip? Next time, we'll build a solo emergency kit and communication plan without buying premium gear. Leave a plan, come home.